Today's Bible story is the Pharisees tried to trick Jesus. What's that, Francis John? You don't think it's right? Oh dear, what's the matter? The local honey council have decided that all bears need to pay some extra money to make sure all honey pots are cleaned properly. You think this is really, really silly, as you always make sure your pots are washed properly, and you would rather spend your money on more honey than giving it to the council. Oh dear, Francis John, you do sound annoyed. Well, today's story is all about how people wanted to get Jesus into trouble by getting him to say whether it was right to pay taxes to the Romans or not. Are you ready for today's story? The Pharisees tried to trick Jesus. The Pharisees were religious leaders and helped God's people, the Jews, understand God's rules and how to worship God. They hated Jesus and made plans to catch Jesus saying something wrong. They went to Jesus and said, "Teacher, we know you are an honest man. Tell us what you think. Is it right to pay taxes to the Roman emperor or not?" Jesus knew that they were trying to trick him. He knew that if he said no to paying taxes to the Romans who ruled their country, then he would be arrested by the Romans for causing trouble. And Jesus knew that if he said yes to paying taxes, then the Jews would think he agreed with Roman rule and so not want to be with him. But Jesus said, "Why are you trying to catch me saying something wrong? Show me a coin used for paying the tax." They showed Jesus a silver coin called a denarius. Then Jesus asked, "Whose picture is on the coin, and whose name is written on the coin?" They answered, "It is Caesar, the Roman emperor." Then Jesus said to them, "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God." When they heard what Jesus said, they were amazed and left him and went away. We heard in our story how Jesus avoided being tricked by the Pharisees. Instead of talking about whether they should pay taxes to the Romans, he made people think about what they should give back to God. We are made in the image of God. We don't look like God in the same way as the image on a coin was like the Roman emperor, but we are like God in all the different things we can do. Jesus was talking about giving back to God ourselves, and at the core of that is love. I wonder, what is it that you can do to show that you love someone? You may like to close your eyes and think about that now. I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer too, then please say amen at the end after me. Dear God, thank you that I'm made in your image to love others. Help me to give to you by loving other people, just as you love me. Amen. What's that, Francis John? You've decided that maybe you should pay the extra money to have your honey jars cleaned. What has made you decide that? You think that paying the extra money shows to everyone that you think having the honey council is important, and even if you don't always agree with their ideas, you want to support them. And maybe next time members of the honey council are elected, you could become one of them. You never know. Well, thank you for joining us for the story The Pharisees Tried to Trick Jesus. We look forward to you joining us again soon. Goodbye and God bless.